Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for turning on to this video. Today, it is the second episode of my Road to Glory series. This is where I play over the board tournaments to prove that anybody can become a good chess player over the board. My first event didn't go so well. I got 1 out of 5, and it showed that I have a lot to learn. But today's video is going to prove how I have improved and how all of you can improve. And your support means a lot. The channel is growing really nicely, so I thank you very much for that. So we're going to get into some opening credits, which will be 3 or 5 seconds, and then we'll get into the games down below. Okay, thank you for making that from Wonder Chef and more. Okay, so I was playing the Khelo India tournament organized by the General Ambassador of India. So this is a tournament that was held in South Africa, and it's part of like ongoing things between South Africa and India to bring things. So this was a chess tournament that I was playing in, and you can see my rating has gone up. In the previous tournament I was rated 800. That was like a starting rating, and because I got 1 out of 5, they put me up to 1188 just because of like the average rating of my opponent, and I scored 1 and stuff like that. Had I not scored anything, I probably would be 100. Okay, so I got black in the first round, and I was feeling pretty good. My opponent played d4, and I once again played knight to f6. And my opponent played c4, and I played c5. I had been learning the Benoni defense. This is what I intended to play, because it gives lots of very dynamic positions, and that's what I wanted to play. I wanted to play something dynamic, something interesting. The time control for this as well is 55 plus 5 seconds, so it's 55 minutes each, 5-second increment. So it's not the longest time control that you can play, but for someone who plays 10 plus 0, very long time to think. My opponent here plays a move that I don't see a lot, e3. So I wasn't sure exactly what to do here, so I just played g6, because generally in the Benoni, your dark square bishop can't get out like this, so you put your bishop here, because the most common move, instead of e3, is to go here, at which point I play e6, you play like a knight to f3, and then we get take, and I go here. And this is generally the structure you get, and then white plays e4. And this is the structure you get. We don't get that in the game, obviously. e3 gets played, g6, knight comes out to c3, and I just play bishop to g7. So far, so good. Position's very much level. The knight comes out, and it's a level position. Slight inaccuracy according to the computer, but what can you do? Castles. Bishop comes out, and here I play e6, and my intention is to just play d4. Thing is, this pawn is no longer protected because I've fianchetted the bishop, so at some point I need to do something with it. Castles, and here I play d4, which is a good move. Striking in the center, I'm going to start opening up some pieces. The bishop comes out, and here I'm okay, but I play a waiting move, and remember I said that that pawn is a problem? Well, it's because I lose it. So it takes. The idea of a6 was a waiting move, but it's also because I want to play queen c7, and I don't want the knight to come here with tempo. I play queen to c7. The knight comes out anyway to defend. So I bring my knight out to also attack the pawn, and now I'm much worse. According to the engine, if my opponent plays several moves to stay better, but the best move in this position is c5. c5, and after knight d5, it thinks just e4, and it thinks white is completely better. But that does not happen. Oh, if I can get my window back. Yeah, so I bring my knight out, but they play rook to c1, which is still a very good move, and I don't play such a good move. So the thing is, I can't take, because then I lose because of this pin. That's the thing, so it defends it tactically. So instead I jump my knight into the center, which I just thought, you know what, I want to get my knight active, I can bring this knight, and I'm going to go for dynamics. We get cd5, ed5, and queen slides over to e1, which I didn't think was a very good move, because I can bring my other knight, which they don't think is a good move. The best move here to stay level is to just play knight takes c5, because this knight defends that. Oh, not wrong knight. I took with the wrong knight there. Knight e takes c5, like this. This is what it wants from me, because there's no longer any pins. instead of that, I play my knight over to f6, which is a bad move. But takes, and then I take with the pawn. Key idea here. Take with the pawn. And my opponent here went for danger levels. And now I'm winning. Because I play queen c6. It is the only winning move, and I find it. And here we get, sorry, let me just make sure everything's properly on. Yes, okay. Okay, yes, okay. Knight comes in, attacking my rook, but the important move here is pawn takes. And this is given a brilliant move. My first over-the-board brilliant move. And the trick is here, you can't take this. You can't take. You need to, the best move here is queen to b4. That is the best move. Queen to d2 is also fine. Queen c3 is also fine. The thing is, you can't take my rook. You can't take my rook because I take and your rook is trapped. So even though you can take my rook, I take your rook and it's trapped, and I've got a knight out, and this knight will eventually escape, and I'm completely winning. So my first over the board brilliant move. The pawn gets pushed forward. I slide my queen over, which is not a good move. I go greedy here, thinking, oh, I can go checkmate. Instead, the best move is there, what I've pointed out, bishop to h3. Just go pick up the rook, get the bishop out, because that is the big problem. My bishop's not out, my rooks aren't connected. That doesn't happen. I play queen here, I slide over, and now I slide my rook out the way, I lose the pawn, I plant a knight in the center, and now all my advantage is gone. Because I thought I'm just going to go checkmate. And here I make a series of completely rational moves. Now, if I asked you what's the best move to play in this position, you could come up with a couple of things. You can play knight to f6, you can play knight g5, you can play f5. I played rook e8, which is not a good move, a bad move, but loses some advantage because we get the rook sliding here. My knight eventually does go there, but I just start to lose the thread loop, so I give a check, and the king slides back, and I move my queen up because I'm like, I'm going to find a checkmate. No, I'm not, because we get this, the rook here, and now I'm pinned. And there's a key winning move here, and it's knight takes c8, which my opponent finds. And after rook c8, rook here is not a good move, because I have here. So I lose the knight, but I get in with a check. And this is very important. I need to find the win here. The bishop retreats, and here there is only one way really to proceed, and it's queen d3. With the king's force back, you get your queen there to b1. Instead, I take this pawn. And now it's a draw, but it's going to be really hard to find a draw when all these three pieces are well activated. The king is really well protected. That's a weakness, that's a weakness. I've got problems, so I look to trade rooks, and here my opponent finds a brilliant move. Not brilliant in the double exclamation mark, but this move is so cool. Because I can't take either of these rooks, because they take the other rook with check. So for example, if I take this, you take with check, my king slides up, you take this rook, I lose. If I take the other rook, you take this rook with check, I go up, I lose. So instead what I have to do is I move my king up, which is not a good move. The move I could have just played here, it once is rook f8, is the top move according to the engine. Another move I can try is queen d8, but that doesn't work at the moment. So I move my king up, rook takes, and here I find the check, and I take this rook, because I think I want this rook active. I could have taken like that, but I wanted this rook up and active, so I can go there, and this is under pressure. The rook slides there, I go defend, so I'm defending this, because I'm like, I'm going to ditch this, but I'm going to look for, counterplay over here. So there, rook slides here, which is a problem, because I cannot take this bishop, because of queen takes my bishop, and I have nothing. That was the whole annoyance, because I calculated it, but the queen gets back in time to protect f2, so I can't play that. So instead, I bring my bishop back, the queen slides back anyway, and now it's a draw. If I play the incredible move, bishop takes g3. And the key is, we go here, and you get mated, because I just slide my rook over, and it's checkmate. There's nothing you can do. So after bishop g3, is the only move that draws. This is what I had to find. I didn't, and from here it just goes from bad to worse, as very quickly I'm lost, and this time I do not save it. I lose a rook, and I get checkmated, and I lose game 1. But from here, it gets much better, I promise. I play a gentleman named Pagnov Christian, so I got a double black to start, which was not great, but hey, 1492. I didn't even remember the rating of my previous opponent. He plays in English, I play knight f6 again, and I play this like a symmetrical English. Was symmetrical, but I'm not fianchettoing my bishop. I play bishop to e7 and castles. Nothing complicated here. My opponent plays d3, which I thought you probably don't want to do that. You want to play e3, d4. You're in English. This is what you got to do. So I play a waiting move. Don't want my knight to get pinned. Rook e1. So I'm like, okay. Why are you going for this? Because that becomes weak. Rook e1, rook e8, queen c. You know, I'm not buying it. I bring my bishop back. I'm waiting for him to do something. Because at this point I was like, I don't want to just come here and lose all my games. I'm going to play solidly. I'm going to wait for him to do something. I attack the queen. And I play d4. Knight gets kicked out. Queen slides here. Go here. Yeah. So when I made my move knight to c6, I offered my opponent a draw. This is move 14. I offered him a draw because I thought, you know what, we can just repeat moves like this. He doesn't take it. He plays knight to f3, and I just close the center. And I play a5, taking space. Bishop comes out, and now I play e5. So activating my knight square bishop. I take space on the queen side because an idea might be to get my knight there with some maneuver. Queen slides up, and now e4, and now I'm winning. And I'm completely winning. My bishop comes out, the queen slides over, I play queen d7, which is not the best move. The best move here is to just play a4. So what do you need this pawn for? Because I have bishop d7, protecting the knight, and I'm just completely winning. Instead, I don't obviously play that. I play queen d7, the knight retreats because it got kind of trapped there a little bit. My rook slides up because I'm going to go attack. e3 is just disgusting because I go here for the pin. Rook b8, slow improvement move, take, knight takes. All the pieces are getting pinned. My rook gets attacked. I slide it over, so now I'm doubled. Rook takes, which I didn't realize hung upon. I didn't realize it hung upon. So I was very annoyed here because I've now blundered some of my advantage. But it was always winning, and here we find the lovely move. Knight back, get the fork, take. Also, when I played this move, my opponent looked really angry. But you know, you can tell there's a difference when someone's angry at you and angry at themselves. My opponent was angry at me for playing this move. Because I was completely up on time. So take, my bishop comes out, my queen comes here. I think it's important to note that my opponent was using lots of time. Like, this is move 32. So I believe at this point, I was up about 30 odd minutes. I was now in move at like time 40 something minutes. My opponent was down to like the teens of minutes, like 15 or so minutes. So I take this, and I'm just like, okay, trade. Here. Now my opponent is down to minutes on the clock. Actually, he's not. I slide my bishop back. I realize I hung up on. I went here, and the game is over. My opponent, when he played queen takes, lost on time in a classical game. Now that doesn't sound strange in 2025 when Dingley Ren just lost a classical game on time. But we had 55 plus 5. When we got to this position, when after the fork, I believe, if I remember correctly, because I played this tournament in August, you know, delayed and everything, only started the channel recently. I believe here it was like 10 minutes to 30 something. And like I just continued playing and he just used all his time. Like when we got to this position here, he had 8 seconds on the clock after he played his rook back to f1. He had 8 seconds on the clock and he flagged. So, you know, not how you want to win, because I thought, oh, I'm winning. I thought I was always winning because I have dynamics, but we win the game on the clock. But this next game, ladies and gentlemen, this was a treat. This is the best game I've ever played. So I played d4. For those of you who watched the first game, you know as an e4 player, I switched to d4 for this tournament, and I play a Queen's Gambit. We get Queen's Gambit declined, and I play Catalan. This is what I was learning. So knight f6, queen slides over, and so far so good. You know, castles, we've got this position. Black has equalized. I probably haven't played this the most accurate way, because I'm never sure what to do completely. I play rook d8, and e3, blocking the diagonal. My queen still sees that pawn, but I know the idea is to open this up. But we don't need to worry about that, because I get this. And there is a moment that comes here. I slide my queen over, and from here, everything just works. So firstly, the pawn push. I develop a knight, take, and my opponent sacrifices the bishop. Now, the key thing is here, you do not take this, because that loses you the game. You go here, and this is lost. Instead, you take f6. Because now they can take this. I slide out the way. That is checkmate. And it is mate in 10. So instead, my opponent played bishop to g5. But I take with the knight, and my opponent brings the rook up. My bishop is hanging, my knight is hanging. I take this. It attacks the rook. My bishop can now be taken, which is probably, you can't take my bishop with the rook because you get mated. You can't take because you're pinned. So the rook slides up, but now I take this. Boom! Rook takes. I take with the knight. The king slides over. I take the rook. And, ladies and gentlemen, I just checkmate my opponent in 24 moves. I wanted to explain that, but basically, if we go all the way back, the moment I brought my queen here, move 13. Okay, we're going to move 11. From here, I never look back. It's 0.5 for my opponent. So I'm slightly worse. f6 was a nothing move. I brought my knight up. And from here, it's minus 1.1. But from here, I didn't look back. Because I don't know what my opponent calculated, all the 1374 that he is. He thought he had something. He missed this dynamite shot. Bishop takes f6. And then, when he brought his bishop back, he missed. Knight takes. He brought his rook back, he missed. Knight takes again. And he brought his rook back up for the final time. He missed rook takes. Because I can go here. You cannot take because you get mated. And he was worried about discovery, so he slides his king up. But now I take the rook. And I just go here. And mate is unstoppable. And I checkmate in 24 moves. An incredible game. This next game though, heist of the flippin' century. Heist of the century. I think that's a term the WWE have trademarked. I'm taking it now. Heist of the century. Because it was a reti. And so I played d4, c5, d5, c5. My opponent just played a pure reti. And I developed my pieces. I played a6. And now we're kind of in like an English structure that we had earlier. So we got to this position. I did kind of blitz through the first 8 moves, but we were playing fairly quickly. None of my other opponents... I was always up on time because I played really quickly. But none of my other opponents flagged. Time was never really a constraint for any of them. So I'm not going to mention it again. It was just that one opponent. So we get this position, and I think I'm better. I am better according to the computer. These positions I found really fascinating to play. They were really awesome to play. You just keep playing, and you get this locked structure. But what I found is you can get very good dynamic play. So we get this, I play rook here, and black is better, because dynamically I'm just better. I can start bringing pieces to the king side, start aiming them at white's king, and here it all starts. F5, F4, we're breaking everything apart. My bishop slides out the way. This move here, F3. Ben Feingold has never played. It's a bad move because I can get my rook there. So watch this. Okay, we attack my bishop. Now this is too much. This is too much. The king is going to get butchered. The knight comes back. I plant my rook. This rook slides over. I bring my other knight. And here, my rook is trapped. But I knew that was happening. I bring my other rook. Take, take. My pawn is now passing. These are all a problem. The knight retreats. The knight retreats to defend that pawn. Because I was going to take it. Probably. So we go here. And I get the exchange back. And I plant my rook. And the queen slides here. And here I make a devastating mistake. I couldn't believe it when I played this move. And I played it so quickly. Because I thought, I'm just attacking. Queen f7. The computer doesn't even think it's a bad move. Because of how good my position is. And all the problems I have. But I think it's a bad move because I lose my queen. Bishop d5. And this was horrible. So I take the bishop, takes back, and I take here with check. And the game is now lost. Instead, what I had to do here was play bishop f7, because the idea is to go checkmate. So if they play an arbitrary move, I just go here and I checkmate. This is check. King sliding over here would be mate. So king slides over, and we checkmate here. That was the idea. And I saw bishop to f7, but I didn't think it worked. I obviously missed something, or I calculated incorrectly. I missed bishop f7. I gave this check instead. I brought my rook back. Now they offer me a trade. I've got to slide back. The rook goes here. Now I find bishop to f7, but it comes too late. My rook gets kicked back again. And now they push their pawns. But I take this. I attack the rook. And now it's a draw. But I pin. Takes. Bishop takes. Because you know what I calculate? I calculate this. This is winning. And this is even more winning. So, when they took this pawn, it was a bad move. Because what I calculated in my mind was, when this pawn got took, and I spent a couple minutes, I was like, okay, I didn't want to take this rook because I don't want to trade pieces off. But if there was a way to trade everything, I would be winning. So, what I calculated, and it all comes to fruition, is bishop takes. Okay, now the king has to take. Okay, now I take the knight. The best move here is to not take my queen. It's to like give a check. You do not take my bishop. Because when you do take my bishop, I have this supported by that pawn all that while ago when I sacrificed the rook and it captured like this. So you take, and this is a winning king and pawn endgame. I promote so I can force the king back, and now I bring my king all the way to the center over here, and my opponent resigns. I cannot explain to you, like, I must have looked so ridiculous, like the sheepish grin I had on my face when my opponent resigned after I played king d5. Which is so funny because I moved my king there, and that's just where you put the kings when white wins. So, if I wanted to be all like, you know, really fancy, I could have played king e5, which would mean like, yeah, black wins in this position. But I went here because I'm going to win that pawn. The king might get in here, but I'll be fine because I will go win that pawn and win everything. I was happy my opponent resigned because I don't trust myself to not lose this game. No, but it was all good there. And so we moved to the final game, where I went full Matthew Richards from the previous tournament. And if you want to know what that means Matthew gets a very good position, a winning position, makes a calculation mistake, and loses the game. Is that a spoiler? Yes. But, so I had no family to calm me down, so I was 3 games down. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be top 10, top 5, we're going to get in. I came into this as like the 46th seed out of like a 60-player field, which is not bad. In Section B, Section A, all the title players. So here we go. White again, d4, d5, and c4, Queen's Gambit again. And now this. This I knew was bad, so I brought my knight out, but now it's like a queen's gambit declined, and the critical way to play here is to bring the queen out to attack that pawn, because the bishops come out early. But I've developed my knight. Now they give the bishop an escape square, so I can't, play any of these moves to try and get the bishop. So I go for like a Catalan again with this, but black's now slightly better. Castles, bishop comes out, rook e1, all fine. I find this good move, knight back to d2, because I want to trade off the knight, take. And we're here, and it's a level position. I play e4, not e5. I keep, when it's e4, when it's rank 4 and rank 5, and my brain keeps switching them. So that's why we have whatever I said. Knight takes, the bishop retreats, the bishop comes here to defend, and we get here. Now I can't explain these moves, but I was like, well, I need to go here to target this pawn. I want to bring my knight to the center, so that might be a plan. I had to bring my bishop there to obviously defend that pawn, and I want to bring my rook here. So that was my thinking, and I don't want to go to c2 because that just walks directly into a pin. So the rook slides over, I bring my rook to d1, the knight goes here, and I think, alright, let's take, and discovery here, and I'm better. We go here, and I slide my queen over, which is not a good move. The best move here, the only winning move here, is to just play d6, because this is going to become a problem. And now we can play queen and now we play queen a3, protecting the pawn, and we will push it forward again. Just get the pass pawn while you have it. I didn't do that. Instead, I played queen a3 right away, and I allowed them to take, and have all of this. Don't ask me what the move a6 was for. I don't understand it. So I played rook in here, and I expected bishop to d6. I expected bishop to d6. This is what I expected. At which point I would have played bishop takes f7. If queen f7, I play queen there, which is all fine. If rook here, I would have brought my rook up to take, and then when the queen slid over, I would have taken this rook, and I would have been winning. That is all correct. All of this calculation is correct. All of this is correct. Yes, so that's why. So I anticipated it. I played here, rook f7, but instead of that, I played rook takes f7, and I lost the game. So, yes, so the waiting move, I expected this. That's what I expected. I expected this in this position, and I was going to play bishop takes. And it doesn't matter what you took back with, I would have taken back with the rook, and I would have been fine. I think, yeah, okay, so queen f7 is better. I would have taken like this, and I would have been fine. I would have been absolutely fine. So the waiting move threw me. The waiting move threw me. The waiting move threw me. So I was like, okay, well, just bring the rook in there. Can't be a bad move. You're putting your rook on the second rank. Now comes the fork, which I provoked. Bishop takes f7. And here, it's like I said, I need to play rook here takes. That is the only winning move. Instead, I took on f7. And I miscalculated because I forgot that you can take this. And yes, this comes with check. But when I take all of this, I'm down a bishop. Which was devastating. And the rest of this game, I did my darndest. My opponent didn't convert cleanly. I did my darndest to defend. But it's just, I was down a bishop. We were level on pawns. Eventually, I won the pawn, but it cost me my rook. And eventually, like, I thought I was going to get stalemated. I was hoping for stalemate. Eventually, my opponent got me here. And the only move is here. And I expected him to be able to checkmate me. So I resigned. But I did move to 3 out of 5. It was good enough for 22nd, I believe. Somewhere in the 20s, 22nd. Which means I did much better than expected. 3 out of 5, and I gained like 90 rating points or something like that. So I'm like now 1280, and we'll just keep going. We're going to keep getting better. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was awesome to be making it. Thank you so much. Until next time.